Hi everyone, and welcome to this instruction video about solving inequalities. You already know how to solve equations using sketches and the balance method. And in this video you will learn about inequalities and how to solve them. And you can see the planning over here. So sketching is something we did last lesson, and it is to give an indication of the way the graphs lie in relation to each other. So it's not to scale and you don't have to plot all the points. And here you can see all the steps that you have to take to make a sketch. Let's see, and here is the last step. And if you want to read it, press pause and then you can read it slowly. I'm going to give you an example of how to do it. So you have to sketch the following formulas in one coordinate system. Y is minus 2x plus 6. And y is 6x plus 2. So step 1, draw both axes and with all names and numbers. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to make this axis and we're going to make this axis. Okay, and with all names and numbers. So let's see, this one is of course the x-axis, and we know at that point y is 0. I'm going to make it a little smaller because it's pretty big, like this. So we know this line is of course the x-axis, but also at this whole line y is 0, and this one is of course the y-axis. But also here, let's make it a little smaller so everything fits. At this line, so this line, x is 0, so x is 0. Make it a little bigger, smaller, I mean, of course. Write it down over here. Alright, and then we have, of course, the origin. Let's see, also make this a little smaller, like this, and put it over here, the origin. So now we have everything we need for this one, and we can start plotting the graphs, or actually sketching the graphs. So let's take a look at the first one, minus 2x plus 6. We know the y-intercept is 6. I'm going to make this graph red, by the way. So I'm going to make this one red. And we know the y-intercept is 6. So we're going to plot our y-intercept right about here. And now we're going to draw a line. I'm going to make it red, of course. And we know the gradient is minus 2. That means it's a negative gradient. So that means the graph will go down. Minus 2 is not a very steep line, so I will make it a little bit like this. Yes, alright. And what we have to do then is indicate the number of the y-intercept, which is 6 in this case. So I'm just going to make a quick 6 over here and put it next to this point, 6, and I want to put the name of the formula next to the line. So y is minus 2x plus 6, and make it a little smaller also, and of course red because it's a red line. So we know this one corresponds to y is minus 2x plus 6. And the next formula, I'm going to make that one blue, like this. And we can see it's 6x plus 2, so the y-intercept is 2. If this is 6, then the point over here, about here, should be 2. The gradient is 6, so that means it's a rising line, and it's way steeper than minus 2. So I'm going to, let's see, draw a line over there, make the line blue. And we know it's much steeper than minus 2, but then it goes up. So let's start over here. It goes through the y-intercept and then to about here. And for this one too, we have to indicate the y-intercept. So I'm going to do that with the 2. Make it a little smaller, like this. That's okay. Like this. And we have to, well, it's not as big now, but like this, the 2 over here. And then we have to name the line, which is y is 6x plus 2. So I'm going to make this one a little smaller, and I'm also going to make that one blue, just like the line. Alright, and put that over here. So now you can see these two graphs. I have sketched them in the coordinate system, in one coordinate system, and we can see this is the point of intersection. Alright, let's continue to the next slide. Equation vs inequality. So an equation, you already know, is to find out when two formulas have the same value Therefore you always have a formula and then an equal sign and the other formula, or just one line, like for example 2 or 23. This is called the break-even point. So when two formulas are the same, it is called the break-even point, and it's used in money matters like economics. But then we have the inequality, and an inequality is to find out when one formula is greater or less than another formula. So instead of writing down the equal sign like over here, you write down this one. So this one is bigger than this one, or this one is smaller than this one. And that's what you have to find out. For which values of x is this formula bigger than this formula, or is this formula smaller than this formula? So these signs, you know, this sign means the first one is smaller than the next one. So E here is smaller than, let's underline that to make it clear, less than F. And here G is bigger than H. So G is greater than H in this case. And here I have an example. Let's scroll down a little bit so we can see the whole graph like this. Alright, so here we have graph K, which is y is minus 2x plus 6. And the question is, for what values is K less than 3? Written as an inequality, let's see. We have to write a y, and I'm going to make it smaller at the beginning already. Y is minus 2x plus 6, and it has to be less than 3, so smaller than 3. So I'm going to remove the y because we just have this one. So we want to know, when is minus 2x plus 6 smaller than 3? And we can use the graph for that one. This is not a sketch, this is the graph plotted in the coordinate system with all the numbers there. I only forgot the y and the x at the axis. But we can also plot the line y is 3 over here. So let's make that one red so we can see the difference. Y is 3 goes like this. Very easy. Just a line at the y is 3. A straight line. And now we can see it already, because at this part here, K, so the blue line, K, is bigger than the red line. But at this point here, so when x is 6, they are the same. They have a point of intersection. And after that, K is smaller because it goes underneath the red line. It goes below there. So we know, we can read off from the graph that when x is bigger than 6, so from here on, from 6 on, K is smaller than 3. So we will write our answer as x is bigger than 6. Okay, so this was a quick example with the graphs that are plotted, but now we are going to do something else. So the sketching inequalities together. The purpose of sketching, as you read in the previous slide, was to give an indication of the way the graphs lie in relation to each other. So if we take a look at slide 3 over here, you can see that you can see how they are in relation to each other. So you see the point of intersection. You see over here the red graph is bigger, over here the blue graph is bigger, and you have to use these as sketches to solve an inequality. So that's what we're going to do, and these are the steps. You write down the inequality as an equation, so you remove the bigger is greater than or is less than sign with an equal sign. You sketch the graph, solve the equation, plus check your answer, and then use the sketch to solve the inequality. And then you can check it with higher or lower values of x to be sure.